from WLFI, this is Lafayette's News Channel 18 with news from where you live.
Good afternoon. The Jasper County Hospital has activated its disaster plan.
Are all between the ages of 7 and 12. Schrag says all parents have been contacted and most are now at the hospital. The conditions in the area may have been foggy. Another school corporation, South Newton, delayed the start of class by 3 hours because of heavy fog.
Former Jeff High School basketball coach Jim Hamill has died. Hamill coached the boys basketball team for 13 years until he was fired in 1998. Hamill led the Broncos to 2 Final Four appearances in his 13 seasons at Jeff. His overall record, 195 wins, 122 losses. We'll have more on Hamill, including reaction from Jeff High School, tonight on News Channel 18 at 6.
Delphi teachers want a mediator to intervene in their dispute with the school board.
Funeral home. You're watching Lafayette's News Channel 18 with news from where you live. Now, Paul Howell, Sue Scott, and meteorologist Mike Prangley. This is News Channel 18 at 5.
Officials say it.
Live from WLFI, this is Lafayette's News Channel 18 with news from where you live.
Jasper County Hospital President Tim Schrag says the other student, at least one student, is being held for observations for neck and chest injuries. Schrag says the child should be released tonight.
A former Jeff High School boys basketball coach has died. Jim Hamill, who coached the Broncos for 13 seasons, died this morning at the age of 55. Jeff Athletic Director Maury Denny says it appears Hamill died of a heart attack. Hamill led the Broncos to 2 Final Four appearances. Jeff Principal Chris Himsel says that word of Hamill's death comes as a shock.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and we wish nothing but the best for them. We know that they're going through a very tough time, and no matter how tough it is for us here as colleagues, it's tougher on family members, and we wish them nothing but the best.
Jim Hamill was fired as coach in 1998, but he stayed on staff at Jeff to teach PE and health classes. Funeral arrangements are still pending, and we'll hear from Jeff's athletic director and one of Hamill's former players tonight at 6 o'clock.
A Cass County man has pleaded not guilty to a charge of voluntary manslaughter.
Coming up next on Lafayette's News Channel 18.
Ahead at 6, local groups respond to the anniversary of the Roe versus Wade decision.
Plus, a teacher and former coach at Jeff High School dies from a heart attack. We'll talk to some people who knew Jim Hamill. And Wabash Landing begins work on a new apartment complex. Those stories and the latest weather and sports next on News Channel 18 at 6.
We share your belief in reverence and tradition.
Live from WLFI, this is Lafayette's News Channel 18 with news from where you live.
A teacher and former coach at Jeff High School dies from a sudden heart attack. It's our top story tonight. Good evening. The Jefferson High School community is mourning the loss of a teacher and former coach.
As Bill Fralick reports, 55-year-old Jim Hamill made an impression on the court and off.
In 13 seasons, Jim Hamill led the Bronco basketball team to 195 wins, and he took 2 teams to the Final Four. Now news of Hamill's sudden death comes as a big surprise.
Well, I think right now we're in the place that everyone is shocked. Jim had been an integral part of our school corporation and our building since 85, 86 when we hired him, and it was just very shocking.
Jeff's athletic director, Maury Denny, says Hamill died early this morning of a heart attack. Denny says the former coach earned a reputation for expecting perfection while offering love and respect to his players.
Jim was a coach that tried to develop a family-type coaching situation, and kids felt very close to him.
Although Hamill was fired as coach in 1998, he still taught PE and health classes at Jeff High School. Brad Kenoy played for Hamill from 89 to 92. Now an assistant basketball coach at Jeff, Kenoy says Hamill was a great teacher.
We had a great run that year in 92, and most of that was due to him. We had some players and some talent, but, if you don't have somebody to lead you, then, you're not going to go anywhere.
Although his coaching days at Jeff were over, Hamill loved the game so much he was an assistant coach for his wife's team in Lebanon. Maury Denny says Hamill was a workaholic whose legacy should be remembered as a coach who wanted good athletes, good students, and good citizens.
I just will miss Jim, and we will miss Jim a great deal. As I said, he really worked well with students and did a very nice job for us.
Hamill would have turned 56 years old in March. Bill Freilich, News Channel 18.
Jeff High School counselors are on hand to help students and faculty deal with the loss. Funeral arrangements for Hamill are pending. We'll have more on Hamill's death coming up in sports. The anniversary of Roe v. Wade continues to draw celebration and opposition in Greater Lafayette.
34. So for the most part, some gorgeous weather, and we deserve it.
Nice to be above normal for a change.
It certainly is. Nice seeing that 40 degrees back in the forecast tomorrow.
First time in a long time. Thanks very much. Well, some sad news out of the local sporting scene.
Yeah, we're mourning the loss of one of the best high school basketball coaches ever in the area. I'll have that story for you just ahead.
0.9% or cash up to $1,500.
You are a genius, Mr. Taxman! Well, 55-year-old Jim Hamill will best be remembered by those who worked with him as an offensive mastermind who got the best from his players. Hamill died this morning at home of an apparent heart attack. As head coach of the Jeff boys basketball team for 13 seasons, Hamill won 195 games and took his Broncos to 2 Final Fours, most recently in 1996. Hamill had his share of health problems, undergoing open heart surgery and being rushed to the hospital with a blood clot in his lung in early November of 1995.
I think he was doing well. He lost some weight and was doing some exercising, and I talked to his wife, Tracy, and she didn't indicate that he'd been having any problem. It was just one of those things, and knowing Jim, I know that he would have wanted it to be quick if it had to happen, but it just doesn't seem real at this point.
He was a very shy person, and not a lot of people understand that about him. I think that a lot of people mistook that for arrogance at times. I probably mistook that for arrogance when I first met him, but he was a very caring man, cared deeply for his players and certainly for his children. And, you know, there are a few people that I'm sure misunderstood him, maybe didn't care a lot for him, but for every one of those, there's 25 of us that understood him and understood what he was all about and loved him.
Hamill had also taken Lake Central High School, where he previously coached, to the Final Four in the mid-'80s. He most recently was coaching at Lebanon High School, assisting his wife Tracy, coaching the Lebanon girls team. I knew him well. He was a great guy as well as a coach. He will be missed. For the first time in the Purdue-Indiana rivalry, Gene Cady will look at the opposing bench and not see Bob Knight. That's a span of 20 years and 41 games.
And The Late Show with David Letterman. Don't miss big-time movie star Alec Baldwin. Then Dave clears out his Clinton jokes. Plus, tonight's Top 10. First, your local news.
Coming up, local residents on both sides of the abortion issue make their voices heard tonight on the Purdue campus. Plus, friends and colleagues remember former Jeff High School coach Jim Hamill. And Lafayette Railroad relocation reaches another turning point. It's all next on News Channel 18.
Live from WLFI, this is Lafayette's News Channel 18 with news from where you live.
Because of Joe's deep love and concern for the students and staff of Jefferson High School,
of our personal lives. About 50 people attended Planned Parenthood's pro-choice meeting.
A former Jeff High School boys basketball coach has died. Jim Hamill, who coached the Broncos for 13 seasons, died this morning at the age of 55. Jeff Athletic Director Maury Denny says it appears Hamill died of a heart attack. Hamill led the Broncos to 2 Final Four appearances. Jeff Principal Chris Hensel says that word of Hamill's death comes as a shock.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and we wish nothing but the best for them. We know that they're going through a very tough time, and no matter how tough it is for us here as colleagues, it's tougher on family members, and we wish them nothing but the best.
And Jim Hamill was fired as coach in 1998, but he stayed on staff at Jeff to teach PE and health classes. Funeral arrangements are still pending, and we'll hear from more friends and colleagues of Hamill's coming up in sports.
14 Morocco Elementary School students were sent to the hospital after a car ran into the bus to the library. You can access it during normal library hours, Monday through Friday or Thursday from 9 to 9, Friday to Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday from 1 to 6.
And Rex is now with some sad news from the local sports scene.
Yeah, one of the outstanding coaches in the area the last couple of decades died unexpectedly today, and we'll take a look at the scenes behind it just ahead.
World quality glasses start at just $59.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Hip and Steel Funeral Home.
Well, 55-year-old Jim Hamill will best be remembered by those who worked with him as a coach who demanded the best from his players as well as himself. Hamill died this morning at home of an apparent heart attack. As head coach of the Jeff boys basketball team for 13 seasons, Hamill won 195 games and took his Broncos to 2 Final Fours, most recently in '96. Current Jeff assistant Brad Canoy was the point guard on his '92 Final Four team.
He was probably the best X&O coaches, one of the best X&O coaches I've ever been around. I mean, as far as drawing up stuff and watching game tape of opponents, I mean, there probably wasn't anybody that was better. We were always well prepared. We always, going into a game, knew what we were going to do, and fortunately it worked. You know, we always had a big staff, and we always treated them well and respected them. You know, and we had a great run that year in '92, and most of that was due to him.
Yeah, he just had a great passion for the game, and I always loved to play against him because you always knew he was going to have his team well prepared, and it was a big game on our schedule. And I just think he's a great mind for the game, and it's sad to see him go. I remember my senior year, they called a couple fouls early on one of their players, and he got mad enough, he called a timeout, and then he called another timeout, and he said that he wasn't going to put his team back on the court unless they cleaned things up. And whether or not they did, I don't know, but they came back out and we played, and that's just how he was. He was just really into the game, and he had a great love for his players and for his team, and he wanted, you know, to make sure that things were done the right way.
But also taken Lake Central High School, where he previously coached to the Final Four in the mid-'80s. He most recently was coaching at Lebanon High School, assisting his wife Tracy, coaching the Lebanon girls team. I knew him well. He will be missed. Over the years, we had a great working relationship with Jim Hamill. Whether it was during practice, before a game, or after a tough loss, Hamill took the time to speak with us. During the Final Four season, '91-92, he gave then photographer Clayton Duffy total access during a game.
Get after him. Come on, White, let's go. Go. Oh, what's that? Hey, White, 2 seconds late. Bill, if he fouled him. I would chase it. Get after him in Warrior. They're really hesitant. Move it. Move the ball. Move the ball. Go. Scotty. If they get the ball in the middle, they're going to shoot layups. If we're in this press, right? Hell, you weren't even close. Hey, JD, move your feet down there. Meadow, Richie. Jump. Oh, who's that on? Who's going to call that on? On us? Jeez.
As you can see, Hamill was the kind of coach who wore his emotions on his sweater. Whether it was directed at his players, the officials, or the media, Hamill always spoke his mind. We'll never forget his stance on the debate over class basketball.
Don't take the thrill away from a small school having the opportunity to win a thing, to win a sectional, to win a regional. Is just crazy. And I think if they do that, then I think we're going to lose a lot of the mystique, a lot of the magic that makes the Indiana tourney the envy of the whole nation.
He was 55 years of age. Gene Cady admits it's going to be different tomorrow when the Boilers and Hoosiers square off in Bloomington. For the first time in 20 years and 41 games, Cady will not see Bob Knight on the opposite bench.
I know we're doing on a tip now, Richie. Oh, we're doing on a tip, right? Warrior, if they get it. You guys got to make sure they don't tip forward. Okay, make them tip backward. Really squeeze down. You have to move up in there. They don't allow them to have a guy that they can tip forward to. Okay, and then on the throw, you go back. But move up in there. Warrior, if they get it. That's chasing Warrior. Now get after it. Come on, White, let's go. Go! What's that? Hey, White, 2 seconds late. Bill, if he fouled him. Yeah. you're not going to damn it play, forget it.
I got Mill on the press, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You pick out one damn thing and the whole thing that happened. Hey, quit your damn candy assing around about that thing. Has nothing to do with your feet. Now get your feet moving and play. All right, listen, on the out of bounds right here. We're in this right here, this time. Everyone know what we're doing now, for sure. Okay, get your butt in. Okay, be sure you get inside. Okay, everybody knows right here. All right, stay active on the press now. We all got to be in the same press. We've got to know what we're doing down there defensively. Don't score, we're Warrior. Okay, now chase it. Get after them in Warrior. They're really hesitant. Remember, move it! Great. Hey, JD, move your feet down there. Right here. What the heck you doing, Kurt, down there? You get the first pass down the sideline, right? Warsaw. Move the ball. Here. All right, listen. First of all, on 2, you never pick for Richard. On out of bounds play.
No, we're supposed to pick for Brad.
Oh, you do. After we get it in, then you pick down, double pick for Richard. Okay. Middle, Richie! God dang it, Scotty! Shit! Move the ball! Go! Scotty! If they get the ball in the middle, they're going to shoot layups. If we're in this press, right? Hell, you weren't even close! Right here. Do you realize if you can't shoot, there's nothing else you can do? That was an absolute horseshit effort right there. They just threw the ball, and you just trailed him all the way and reached and hacked behind him. You got no idea what the hell we want to do. No idea. You won't play hard other than shooting the basketball. Get out of there. Jump! Sit down. Score 52 points, you ought to be absolutely blowing somebody out. And we're not. We have people, we just don't have enough guys playing hard. We just don't have enough. You were non-existent. You're pouting on the bench about not playing, so when you do come in, your head's up your ass. And that's exactly the way you play for 3 or 4 minutes. Hell, you're never going to play. You're damn playing JV, you're playing that way, because you were not in it at all. Look at you there, you weren't even watching the ball game. Well, you're on the bench. And you 3 were just flat out of it. JD, you're out of it. You got up there because you play hard. I don't care how much you score. That doesn't make a damn bit of difference to me. You got to play hard. You got your rear end leaning over, picking up the ball at the 10-second line, and they're diving, and we have a jump ball. It's not our possession. Now it's theirs. That should have been ours to start with. Wrong presses. You get your 3rd foul because they're damn stupid. You're in the wrong press. I don't know what press. You're in the wrong press. You're just in the wrong. You're not even in any press. You're standing back here and you got a first pass down the sideline. In any press. Except man-to-man. I don't think you thought it was that. That was not a good half of basketball. Hell, if I'm sitting up there, I go home at halftime. There's got to be something better on television than that. I guarantee you. That's not a good half of basketball by either team. They're not going to quit on you. They're from Anderson. You understand that? They play a hell of a lot better people than you every day in the summer. Every day in the summer that don't even make their damn basketball teams. Got a hell of a lot better players than we got. And you're going to come out here and jack around, you're going to beat them. Any idea why you're here? Fuck, that's just off. Get a jacket on. You got a long stay.
Low time.
2? He was shooting the ball? How can he be shooting the ball? Jeez, Billy's dribbling the ball. He's running this way. That's terrible, Bill. Oh, who's that on? Who's going to call that on? On us? Jeez. If they make that pass, we're dead. Dead. Look, you cannot let the ball get behind you on the press. The last time, again, that's not that hard. If you have to, run to the 10-second line. But don't let it get behind you. Okay, yeah. Well, then, Brett. First guy goes deep is yours. Right there, right there. You got to improve your passing angle to get the ball into it. He's straight up on you. You got to dribble down and get it in. I'm telling you, this is the way I felt all my life in coaching. I would rather have 5 stumble bums that will play hard than have stars that won't play hard. I'm looking right at you two. If you don't turn it around in practice, you had a great week until the last 2 days, and then you quit, and you quit tonight. I will not play stars that won't bust the rear. I will not. I don't care who you are and what everybody else in the state thinks of you. I will not play you. Now, if you don't figure that out before Monday, then it's going to be a hell of a long week for you two.